bonded with another clay molecule, bonded with another clay molecule, bonded with another clay molecule. They do this in sheets, very, very long sheets, until the ends are eroded up. And then there's another sheet right next to it. And holding it together, because clays are incredibly negatively charged. You see all these negatives? Negative, 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 negative. Because they're so negatively charged, all they need is a couple positively charged molecules to come between two sheets to stick them together. So, for example, calcium has a very, very high positive charge. It has two variants. So that means it has double strength positivity as compared to this oxygen giving off a single strength positivity. That means this calcium can hold on to two oxygens. Hey look, two oxygens, two oxygens. It can just hold it together like glue. So this sheet and this sheet is held together by a charge of calcium. Magnesium, same charge as calcium. Potassium has one, not two, only has one, but it cannot exist by itself. K always has to be K2. So this is actually, it's kind of misrepresentative. It's two of them together holding onto the two negatives. Calcium again down here. And this happens again and again and again and again. And then you have sheeting. They're stuck together through charge. Can't break them apart, no way. Okay? That's flocculation. Shrinking and swelling. So, I showed you the clay particle that has all of this going on. When water comes into this clay surface, it's going to cause a couple of those sheets to swell up, right? They kind of swell up because of cohesion and because water pushes its way into an area and will actually move those sheets apart. Remember, it has a charge too. So it can come in and start breaking those sheets apart. As the water goes in, those sheets start spreading apart, it starts to swell, right? So you have a swollen clay particle moving around in water, totally saturated. It's moving around and then it runs into another clay particle that's totally saturated. Because it's got all of these little niches on it, it just gets hooked to it like a fish hook to the other one. Nothing to do with charge, nothing to do with glue. It just hooks onto it because it gets hooked. And then those two clay particles are wet. Then they dry out. They're stuck together and they dry out. What happens then? Those sheets that were pushed apart come together as the water starts to leave. And then those two clay particles will actually come closer together. Does that make sense? As those sheets start to close up, that area disappears, and so they kind of become hooked onto each other even more. Those layers, like a sheet of layers might go inside another sheet of layers like this, and when the water goes away, they're stuck together. You're not going to get them apart. Okay. So that's flocculation. Wrong slide. So that's flocculation, shrinking and swelling. You understand that? That's how clays behave together.
Can you clarify something?
Yes.
So the parent material,
Yes.
wearing down, becomes clay.
It does.
And you've got all these different parent materials.
Oh, different kinds.
So, but that would apply to all of them. They would all have this flaky surface.
They're all, yeah,
All the
sheeting. Yeah. Because they're usually made of the same stuff. Silica, aluminum, magnesium, iron. Clays are usually, because everything else gets chipped away. You know what I'm saying? Like, that rock gets chipped away. Usually the only thing that's left is aluminum, iron, magnesium, calcium. There's only like a select few that they just end up being that. Okay. Good? Alright.
So this is why cob houses work,
This is what?
cob building,
I don't know what that is.
using clay and straw and mud makes up.
Well, sure, if you get it wet and then you bring it together and it
Yeah.
dries, it turns into something, yeah, that's flocculation.
Exactly, that's
And
what I
shrinking and
think.
swelling, yeah. Okay. Biological aggregation of clays. So now we're forgetting about the charge, we're forgetting about the shrinking and swelling, we're talking just about the biological. This includes the burrowing and molding of soil by animals. So as a mole digs a hole, he pushes it together and causes aggregation. So anytime I go walking on my soil through my perfectly tilled field and I go walking around and I compact everything down, I just cause aggregation. I love this word, enmeshment of particles by sticky networks of roots and fungi, the hyphae. Does that make sense to everyone? The enmeshment of particles by sticky networks of roots and fungi.
And that's what makes them stick together. Whoa.
Enmeshment. Okay? So that,
I always wondered what aggregates was, you know, like when you go down to like Glover, and
Yeah.
they say they have aggregates, and
Yeah.
I always wondered. And we bought some because my son guys put together a driveway, you know, and I said, that thing is gonna wash away, but it doesn't wash away, man. You have the real small cup, you have the little big one, and it just sticks.
because they probably have the hyphae on them, and when you enmesh a ball, it becomes like a protective web. And water can hit it, and the soil won't go away. Because fungi are made of chitin, just like we are, and is water resistant. So as soon as water hits chitin, it rolls right off of it, because it has certain properties, hydraulic properties that don't allow it to absorb. So, yeah. Production of organic glues by microorganisms, especially fungi and bacteria. We talked a little bit about that. That's the polysaccharide. So when a microorganism breaks down a leaf, it's usually going to create some sort of enzyme to break it down. It's usually going to be a sticky substance, because when you create things in nature and you want it to stay, you make it sticky, right? So it puts the enzyme up on the cells of the leaf and waits a couple seconds for that enzyme to break down the cells, and then it takes up the nutrients. And then it goes away. Well, what happens? It just left a sticky mess all over everything. And so soil gets bonded to that and becomes aggregates. Organic matter is a high energy substrate for microorganisms. So where there is organic matter, there's high energy microorganisms. Microorganisms that are doing a lot of activity. So if you have lots of organic material added to a clay soil, you have high energy microorganisms in an area where they are finding lots of nutrients, lots of available water, and a place to stay. So some of the best soils you could possibly have are going to be those oxasols and those heavy eroded aluminum oxide soils with organic matter added to them. And then of course, this is the biggest one, is man-made influences. We're talking about biological aggregation of clays. Just driving a tractor over your land will cause aggregation. Walking on it causes aggregation. And here's a little schematic of the biota that goes on in the surface layers of the soil. Of course, we have our macro organisms with our worms and everything, microbes as well, soil fungi, insects and worms, grasses, fungi, snails, decomposition, nematodes, insects, and other flatworms. Lots of biology going on. And remember we said, after the A horizon, pretty much none of this is going on. Soil density. I always have trouble explaining this to people. I'll do my best. Because I didn't get it the first time I took soils, and I didn't get it like the second time I took a soils class, and it took me actually tutoring on the outside to understand this concept. But now I do this like on a daily basis. I do core samples and I understand. So, if you get confused, I understand how it's confusing. There's two kinds of density in soil. This plays, it plays a huge role in classification and how you treat your soil. Soil density is one of the first things that you're going to test for when you test the soil. Water holding capacity, pH, soil density, and porosity. Those four things have a huge influence on soil, and you can come up with a lot of assumptions based upon those four things. So, particle density and bulk density. Bulk density is nothing more than the mixture of air, water, organic matter, and minerals. So basically everything, right? Particle density does not include the pore spaces. Water and air. Those things are not a factor. Particle density, defined as the mass per unit of volume of soil solids. I didn't bring it. Did I bring it? I did. That is my soil core. Most people use huge soil cores, but a lot of my experiments go on compost and natural farming piles, so I don't need to dig deep. All I need to do is figure out if I fill this up with my IMO4 material or my compost, pack it down, not too tight, but just pack it down so it's like it existed in nature. And then I measure, I weigh that. That is the mass per unit of volume. I know how much volume is in here. Pi times the radius, whatever it is. So I know that it's like 4 cubic centimeters in here. And I weigh that. 1 cubic centimeter of soil solids typically weighs about 2.6 grams. Then the particle density is 2.6 grams per centimeter cubed. Does that make sense? If 1 cubic centimeter, say this is 1 cubic centimeter, if the soil that is in this area weighs 2.6 grams, then the particle's density is 2.6 grams per centimeter cubed. Now, most soils across the board have densities between 2.6 and 2.75. Most soil scientists will just write in 2.65 and be done with it. Because almost all soils are in that range, and when you're talking about application rates of nitrogen over a hectare or like multi-acre, it really doesn't make it too big a difference if in the equation I do 2.65 or 2.7. It generally gives me about the same amount. Okay. That being said, when I do my analysis of composts, which have high organic material, I actually have to find out what my particle density is. Or if you are in an area that has high organic material in your soils, which is pretty much everybody here, has organic material and probably nothing else. So it's super important for me to be able to test this because on my IMOs and my compost, I'm getting particle densities of about 2.75. Or sorry, 0.75. So I'm like way off of the number that they're telling me. So now I have to figure this out, and it comes into all the equations. So every soil scientist will want to know what your particle density of your soil is when doing recommendations. How do I figure that out? I just get your address and go to the web soil survey, and I can look it up. But if I don't know it, or if I'm doing it on a different kind of material, then I have to do an analysis. It only includes the soil solids And water does not play a factor. So, when I take my sample, I weigh it, and then I dry it, and then I weigh it again. And that gives me my particle density. Okay, so water's not a factor. I use that water weight to use an equation to figure out what the particle density is without the water.
What about the air though?
Air, yes, definitely airspace, because we're talking about unit of volume. How much can you pack in a unit of volume? So and remember, air can get into areas where water can't. Does that make sense? Because their molecules are smaller. Yeah? So if it was water can only pack so much into there, and air can leave a little more room. Does that make sense? No. Yes, no water, just air. Okay? That was particle density. Let's talk about bulk density. So this is, I'm sorry, I confused you guys. This is when I dry. Yeah, so this is bulk density. This is the mass per unit of volume of dry soil. It includes both solids and pores. And water is as well not a factor, so it's dried as well. Known volume of soil. Oh, you take the known volume of soil, 2 centimeters cubed, you dry it, and then you weigh it, and you compare those two. High pore space equals low bulk density, and the happy medium is that the density of the particles have to allow for a root tip to be able to come in between them. And that is a huge factor. Happy medium is at least enough room for a root tip to come in and then move the aggregates aside as it grows through. Lower bulk density, lower weight, more pore space. Compost. Going to have a much lower bulk density than a clay, right? Higher bulk density, higher weight, less pore space. So when you're at Thanksgiving and your daughter brings the soil scientist to the dinner and you can stand there and be like, yeah, bulk density, yeah, I understand, yeah, you totally understand what's going on here, right? Okay, because that's it, we're done for today. I'm going to talk, we talked about these things today, functions of soil, what is in it, what are the factors influencing formation, how do we classify it, and the physical properties. Everybody remembers what we went through, right? Does that look like anybody's wife? And for the next class, hopefully you guys are going to sign up. I'm really not all excited about this class because it's like introduction stuff, but the next one, man, I'm going to let it all go. I'm going to really, really get you understanding factors like the chemical properties of soil, including pH and the movement of minerals in the soil. Lots of charge going on here. We're talking about a lot of electricity, a lot of energy. We're going to talk a little bit about soil ecology, maintaining healthy soil, and how to keep and retain your soil. And then the importance of organic matter. I'm going to talk a little bit about decomposition, like I said, but not too much. I hope to hit 4 hours, but I don't know if I have enough material for 4 hours for this. Plus, it'll be a lot of info anyway, so it probably might be a shorter class. Who knows? I might actually do 4 hours. Don't hate me if I do. But this class is only half drafted, so I wasn't going to draft the classes until I knew I had my minimum enrollment.
What is that?
6. So if I have 6, if you guys tell me you're going to do it, then I'll get started and I'll finish it up.
Well, we got 2 right here. We're going to pay for the whole thing.
All right.
Need to know for next week, really?
No, my office will let me know that if you signed up or not. But I haven't like halfway done. I'm not going to finish it until I definitely have my 6 because I'm not, spinning my wheels for no reason. If I don't have 6, we don't have the class.
So we have to call in advance for every class.
I would just say if you want to, if you just tell them which ones you want to go to and pay for them then. Or you could just do it once a week. It's up to you.
And we're going to pay for all of them.
tell them James said, no. Tell them James said, I want to pay for all of them, and I'm going to do it right now, and here's my credit card. No, they'll do it. I think
If all of a sudden it drops below 6.
oh yeah, you'll get refunded your money, and then we just don't run the files. So, if you signed up and paid, and we have 5, it's all right, guys. There needs to be enough there to pay you, so. And pay for the room and electricity.
Okay, I mean, who's gonna come next?
Well, you got 2 committees already.
So did you teach this up in Hunaka'a, or there's just been a series of this going on?
No, that's another group that does that. Yeah, great guys. I like them a lot.
Just checking, 'cause they were just saying so much about it.
So who's all coming next week? We get that, that way we know for sure, because, okay, there's 3.
Brian.
You coming? There's 4.
Brian.
Need 2 more?
Martha never made it.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Phyllis.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah, there's a possible 5 right there.
So what you're saying is I should probably get started?
Yeah. You coming?
I don't know. I'm a midwife. I got.
Oh, midwives, you never know,
I'll
man.
promise to hold. I'll promise to hold.
So I'll just assume it's probably gonna go. I'm sure I'll probably find one more along the way.
Hey, Joanna wants to come.
Tell her to come.
Joanna.
Oh, Joanna.
Are you farming yourself now, or are you teaching in college here?
I'm getting my master's degree and doing research projects, so when I farm, it's for data.
Yeah.
So
Projects.
a lot of things don't really matter to me, like harvesting,
Sure.
those types of things, because almost all my data comes from plant tissue or soil, so it's like,
Yeah. Not
I'm one hell of a farmer,
Uh-huh.
but I stick to most of education.
Right now, especially if we get past.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just all research,
Mhm.
lots and lots of research.
So we got 5 guarantees.
Okay.
Her, me, him, and James.
Okay.
We do those 3 guys.
Okay. I'll just start working on it and assume that it's gonna go.
Yeah, 6. There's 6.
Okay,
Guys.
but please, call the office tomorrow and put it up, and, I'm gonna wait for them to say yes before I do it.
2 family members can't come at the same.
Unless you wanna pay tuition, it's per student. Any other questions? Did you learn something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of information.
learned some.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
I need to collect your emails.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you write them on the back of this? Also, coming up soon, I am starting my world famous, incredibly inexpensive natural farming class series. First one's going to be Introduction to Natural Farming. It's for people that have and have not had exposure to natural farming. If you don't know what natural farming is, it is using plant-based, animal-based, site-specific microorganisms to create fermented materials that is economical and probably better than any concentrate you're going to buy at the store. So anyway, it's
does that mean Bocati or IMOs? Are you talking about
it's
that?
IMOs, yeah, that type of thing. We're going to go over introduction for that first day. The next it's Saturday. The next Saturday we're going to go over production and application. It's where we're actually going to make some of these materials on hand, hands-on experience, and then we're going to apply them in the field. This class is a little more expensive than the other ones because you guys have to cover the materials, but you'll go home with some naturally farmed concentrates. Yeah, just through my office. You give them a call just like you did this and let them know you want to do the natural farming stuff. It's a total of 4. The next one we're going to do is natural farming chicken production. We're going to give you plans for a natural farming chicken coop, newly designed ones that we just had come out. And then the last class is swine production, where we go over how to make a piggery with using natural farming techniques. Basically has no smell, no flies. It is the most amazing experience when it comes to swine. It'll reface swine production in Hawaii over the next 10 years.
Yeah, but they don't wanna.
You've seen it spreading all over. People are getting these piggeries set up in their backyards, and their neighbors have no idea that they're even there because the pigs don't even make a noise, and they don't smell because they're happy, and then they have plenty of microorganisms in their food. So anyway, we're doing that. That is starting April 19th. Also, I just finished 1 year of production on my movie, which is called The Natural Farming and Alternative Approach. And this is going to be a 2-hour and 10-minute film that is going to be offered through my office, offered as a class. And you're going to be able to pay a small monetary amount, probably like $20. And then you will get a password to go to a website and download the film on HD. And then you will get a packet in the mail with write-ups, definitions, and all the other information that we could possibly give you. Okay, so then you will have how to make these materials on hand, any moment, anytime you can reference it. Also, I spent almost an hour in this film talking with scientists about the science behind these things, because nobody else is talking about the science. And that's the fascinating part. They're just saying, do it because it works. Forget that, I have explanations of why it should work. So that's all available soon. I think the release date will probably be in the next 30 days. Okay? So over the next couple classes, if you come, I'll tell you the status of this and then when you can download it. Okay? Business plan development training for farmers. These guys took that class. It's a very, very popular class, and basically what it does is, and it's evolved since you guys have done it. I mean, it's gotten like so much more in depth and so much more polished. It basically breaks down how to succeed as a farmer after you've harvested in Hawaii. Everything, marketing, regulations,
Organic?
whatever you want to do. You don't even need to do farming. You can just do it as a business plan, however you want. And it is very, very applicable. The difference is we've always offered this because it was subsidized by the Department of Labor. The whole class for 12 weeks was $25. Not anymore. It's $2.99, which is still a great deal for 12 weeks of class. And when you're done, you walk away with a full, comprehensive, polished, ready-to-go business plan that you could slam on the desk of any bank, and they'd be happy to talk to you.
Even with bad credit, not as big.
It's true, with bad credit, yeah, you can. Because in your business plan, you have ways to build, to fix your bad credit. My business plan right now is in its 2nd year, and I haven't done anything because I've been paying back old debts for 2 years. So part of my business plan doesn't even really start until that's cleared. It's taken me 2 years to do it, but that's in the plan to do that. Yeah, don't get a master's degree, good Lord. It's expensive. Ag skills. I'm doing a series of ag skills classes like plant propagation, orchard work, pruning, all these like actual hands-on experiences. We have those coming up pretty soon. I just got to schedule them and write them. But the office told me they want to do that. Also, I make soap, and I'm trying to get a soap making class going on through my office as well. So if you're interested in making soap, there probably will be a soap making class soon. Just hand.
What is your office number?
934-2700.
April 19th, what day is that?
It's Saturday. Sorry I had to do them on Saturdays because every other day is full. Stuff.
Where are you gonna hold it?
Here. Yeah. And then we make the materials right in the ag area in the back. And like I said, for the production classes, you'll walk home with some fermented plant juices. You'll walk home with some fermented fish. You'll walk home with some IMO. And so you won't leave empty-handed, even though it's a little bit more expensive for that class. Or you can just skip that and wait for the movie to come out, and it's got all that explanation. But not the hands-on experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Alright.
Later.
Right.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Good training plan.
What do you need?
To print out from the registration. I give it
Did you email them?
You gave it to me?
Yeah, send it.
Oh, is this it? Okay, I'll believe you.
It's hiding.
There it is.
Like
Okay. Okie dokie.
Sure.
So I will email everybody either a Dropbox link or some kind of link to that. I won't send it directly, it's too much memory. Okay. Whose is this? This yours? Wait, it doesn't belong to me. Thanks everybody. Hopefully see you next week.
Thank you. A lot of information.
Alright.
Like your presentation.
Thank you.
What is your last name?
Rushing.
What?
Rushing.
Oh,
I think it's a verb.
yeah, it is.
Something like that.
Reminds me of water. That's good.
It just sucks that I'm late for everything.
Tell it to you, it's good. Okay.
See ya.
See you.